Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Maida and you're watching Maida Pours, and today I'm going to be doing another pearl cell straight pour. It should be in the title. You clicked on it, you saw the thumbnail, you know the idea probably already, better than I do even at this point because you've already seen how it came out. In my head, now again this is in my head, we'll see how this turns out. I've chosen two extreme sheen colors here. I've got Aquamarine and I've got Silver, okay? So I have them mixed up here. These are pretty thick. It's 1 part paint to 1 part Floetrol and just a tiny itty bitty bit of water, like just a few drops. And it's still somewhat thick. It's leaving a small mound. It's not super thick, but it's thicker than my other paints here. So I have the Aquamarine there and then also the Silver. Same mixture, 1 part paint, 1 part Floetrol, and a few drops of water. And I did add the Minwax pre-stain to my Floetrol for just about all of these paints. Not this one. This is the Decoart Metallic Berry that I actually did use in my last pour. So this was mixed with the mix pouring medium. But it is thinned down. It doesn't leave a mound in the cup. It pretty much just flows straight in, and it's actually kind of Dutch pour consistency because I actually just used that in a Dutch pour. So some of these are really thin and some are just sort of thinner than the Extreme Sheen. So this is Metallic Cobalt Blue by Loft. It's also leftover paint. Now this is a fun new paint that I just got. It's Folk Art Color Shift. It is the Blue Violet. I've never used this kind of paint before. I was very excited to see it on the shelf of my Michaels. And I mixed this 1 part paint, 1 part Floetrol, and it doesn't really leave much of a mound at all when it flows in, but it is such a pretty color. I don't know if it's going to get swallowed up by this or if I'll be able to sort of see how it interacts a little bit. We shall see. All right. And then I've got a lot of my basics here. I've got Dioxaxine Purple by Liquitex, Ultramarine Blue by Liquitex Basics. We've got Iridescent Gold Fine by Golden Fluid Acrylic, Iridescent Pearl, also by Golden Fluid Acrylic, my trusty Paynes Gray that I just love and put in almost everything by Golden Fluid Acrylic. And then this is Silver. I have a lot of leftover silver. This is not the Extreme Sheen Silver. This is just Liquitex Basics Silver that I used in one of my recent paintings. It's some leftover paint that I just kind of want to use up. So I am going to do this like a straight pour, with the exception of the pearls that are going to go on the bottom of the canvas. And I'm going to put it in my dollar store mixing cup here. I love these. I love these things. I have a lot of them from the dollar store. I use them for mixing paint, doing straight pours. Love them. Okay. Now that I've shout out to the dollar store. Okay. Or the Dollar Tree. I think it's the Dollar Tree. Okay. So I am going to start. So I want this sort of to look like an underwater scene. That's what I'm imagining in my head. That's why I have dominant blue, purple. I do have the pink and gold, which I don't have nearly as much of. We'll see how it shows up. A lot of purple, the Paynes Gray. And then the cells that are kind of come through are Silver and the Aquamarine. I don't know. We'll see how this turns out. I hope it might not look like an underwater scene, but I'm hoping it's pretty no matter how it turns out. So I'm going to start here. I'm going to start with the Ultramarine Blue because, you know, it's an underwater scene. Let's start with some Ultramarine here. I used about half of what was in my cup, and now I'm going to use about half of my Dioxaxine Purple. I am doing this like a straight cup, so I'm going to pour from up high. I'm going to put those in again last, I think. I'm going to do this, not all of it. That's my, ooh, I can see it color shifting in there. See how it's like gold? I don't even know what it color shifts into, guys. All right, I'm going to pour in the Cobalt Blue, which is, you know, very greeny tint there. I'm going to go ahead and pour in my Silver. Oh, gonna have a lot of silver in there. Gonna go ahead and pour in my pink. just for a little contrast, right? Pouring some gold. I'm like dumping these in the cup because I want them to react in there, okay? So that is an intentional kind of dump, if that makes sense. Iridescent pearl. You can see things getting pretty in cup. I think that's why I love straight pours so much, is you can kind of see in the cup just like, ooh, some Paynes gray. Because I like my Paynes gray. Put in the rest of that color shift. Get it. I'm glad it fell through. I want it to be heavier. I want it to, I don't know, do some stuff in there. I don't know how this paint reacts to things though. I've never used it, so we're gonna be finding out today. But it's pretty. Do you see that in there? It's just so pretty. Okay. Put in the blue. Last of that. Go ahead and scrape it out. I'll use all that blue. And the Dioxaxine purple. Also, so I poured it in, but then I also kind of floated on top. Did you see how I did that? I don't know. You can tell. Okay. Setting my paint cans to the side there. Okay, so I still have my pearl cells. I'm going to pour those directly on the canvas first. But I've got a very cool looking cup filling. We'll see how this, we'll see what pours out of this cup in just a second. All right, I'm gonna get the canvas out and we're gonna get to pouring. Okay, we got the canvas and we've got our straight cup at the ready. But first we're gonna lay down our silver and our aquamarine kind of pearl colors here. So I want them to mix together, but then I kind of want them to also have parts that don't mix together. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pour one, sort of get that one out here. And I have about 1 ounce of each of these colors mixed, which might be a lot. We'll see. Okay. Hopefully. And then I'm going to pour it over it and then kind of also just sort of pour it on its own down over here too. So there's going to be parts that are mixed together under there and then hopefully parts that are just sort of solo on their own. But I've never used 2 selling colors before. Honestly, I've never had that much success with this technique before my last painting with the garnet cells I did. So I did one other, maybe 2 that had like a few pearls pop up. I'll just pop in the bubbles here. Get those bubbles out of there. I just mixed up these paints, so there's definitely a lot of bubbles, but we'll leave that alone. We'll pop them at the end too. So I'm gonna take, wow, this super cool cup. Like, can you see that? Can you see in there? Okay. And I'm gonna pour it like a straight cup just directly over, and I am gonna pour I'm gonna start low to get it going, but then I'm gonna pull it up high to get lots of reactions happening. Let it slowly all pour out. There are definitely lots of bubbles. That is what happens when you pour from up high. So if you don't have a torch, you don't want to, well, I don't know, it would be hard. Ooh, all right. Like, it's still pretty in there. It's still pretty in there. I'm gonna want to just pour what's a little bit left over here. It'll probably all fall off, but you know, that's okay. Okay, I'm gonna set that over. I am gonna try to pop these bubbles. Definitely a lot of bubbles. Again, whoa. So even if the pearls didn't pop up on this, I wouldn't be mad. I think it's so pretty, just like as it is right now. Boom. So I think we'll get pearls popping up, but like I said, even if we didn't. Okay. So, oh, it's so pretty there. Okay, gosh. I'm gonna kind of just, I'm gonna stretch it around before I even think about tilting it off. You know what I mean? I'm just gonna stretch this out. the paint, the straight pour cut paint is thinner, so it should flow over the thicker Extreme Sheen. Oh, I'm gonna lose it, but it was so pretty. Take it over that corner. We're gonna come down here. But you do want to stretch out that top layer of paint, even though I didn't want to lose those corners. But you got to stretch it out because that's what's going to like help those pearls pop up. Okay, we're going to bring it back to center. It does kind of have an underwater vibe to it, right? I mean, I don't really see too much of the, I guess in here a little bit. Okay, we're going to go ahead and stretch it down to this corner. I definitely, again, I'm not, even if the pearls don't pop up at all, which I do hope they do, I think this is beautiful as it is. So I think I see some starting to form, but we got one last corner to get over. There's still plenty of paint moving on this canvas. It's moving slow, but it's moving, and it'll definitely get over that last corner. And, ooh, okay, I definitely see some pearls starting to form. We'll see what takes shape here after I get this sort of positioned on the canvas. Okay, see them popping up over here, so I am gonna just stretch it a little bit that way, kind of help them along. But I see them popping up over there too. So, okay, we are gonna set this down so you can see it. I definitely see a few popping up over here, but this was gonna take some time to develop, right? Like this doesn't happen instantaneously. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and fast forward this part so that I can show you those pearls forming, not in real time, but kind of in about a minute. You'll see about 15 minutes of time lapse here. This is about 8 times speed. And I am going in and torching and sort of tilting off that front corner. There's a lot of paint still on the canvas, and I also really do want to stretch that top layer out as much as I can so those pearls really have a chance to form. I'm happy that they seem to be forming along the sides and not fully taking over completely the way they did in the previous painting, because I really wanted to see the piece underneath as well. So while I do get some that pop up in the center later, it doesn't completely overwhelm the entire piece. So I'm really happy about that because I think it's really beautiful under there as well. So this first part is about 15 minutes of time, but then I do come back a bit later and see that a few more have formed. So that is going to be coming up here momentarily. I think I come in one more time, stretch it out one more time. I really do recommend kind of assisting the cells when, you know, like don't let it, make sure you've stretched it enough. If the paint is still moving a lot, stretch it. So there it went. It just, this is probably a full hour of it sitting, and you can see more cells popped up in the middle there. But this is pretty much the completed piece, and I'm very happy with it. I think it came out beautifully. I am about to bring you in for a close-up. Do hit that like button if you enjoyed this video, and if you want to see more videos like this, consider subscribing, because this is what I do here, acrylic paint pouring videos. But thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I will see you again next time. I'm really excited to show you all of these details in here. It's just really beautiful. So in this lower corner is where most of the silver cells, or I'm sorry, the silver pearls sort of popped up, but you can see underneath in here, all of these cells formed. I think this is the color shift paint, but I mean, I had so many paints in there. Who knows what it is really, or what's mixing together to do what, but it's beautiful. And then over in this corner is where most of the Aquamarine pearls popped up. and then a little bit in the lower corner. I'm not sure where those cells came from or if it's a mixture or what's going on there. But here it is. And thank you so much for watching. I will see you again on the next one. Bye-bye.